There's this one powerful belief that pretty much all of human civilization is built on. The idea that the world around us can be tamed.
I mean, our entire history is basically a testament to that idea, right? We're always trying to shape our environment. We build things, we plan things, we try to predict what's next. And that core belief that we can actually tame the world, well, that's the very foundation of it all.
But what if that whole belief is just wrong? What if, with all our incredible technology and smarts, we're really just passengers on a planet that works on a scale we can't even begin to wrap our heads around? It's a pretty humbling thought, isn't it? And that's really the big question we're going to dive into today. And this really gets to the heart of the paradox. I mean, we pull off these incredible feats of engineering, right? We build these massive walls, divert entire rivers, but so often they're just temporary defenses. They're up against forces that are ancient, absolutely immense, and honestly, completely indifferent to whether we're even here or not. Okay, so where does all this untamable power even come from? Well, let's start right under our feet. Literally, with the ground we're all standing on. Just try to picture the Earth's surface, okay? It's like a bunch of giant puzzle pieces, and they're all just floating on this sea of molten rock. They move, but super slowly, about the same speed your fingernails grow, maybe a few centimeters a year. It sounds like nothing, but you give that slow, relentless crawl millions of years, and boom, you get entire mountain ranges and massive oceans. Now, as these huge plates grind against each other, they don't just slide past smoothly. No way. They snag on each other, they get locked up, and they start building up an absolutely incredible amount of tension. Think of it like coiling a spring tighter and tighter and tighter for years, for centuries, just waiting for that moment when it has to snap. And when that spring finally snaps, wow, the release of energy is just almost impossible to imagine. To put that power into perspective, get this. A single large earthquake can release more energy than all the nuclear weapons on Earth combined. Just let that sink in. A single earthquake. That's a scale of power that completely dwarfs anything we could ever create. And it's not just shaking. The very same system that causes the ground to violently shake can also cause it to melt. All that heat and pressure from the tectonic plates grinding together can create these enormous underground chambers of magma, and on very, very rare occasions, those can erupt with a force that could literally change the course of life on this planet. All right, so we've looked at the power coming from below. Now, let's look up. Let's turn our attention to the chaos happening right above our heads, because the sky, it's a whole other arena of forces that we can watch, but we definitely can't command. A hurricane, it's basically a gigantic heat engine. It sucks up all this incredible energy from warm ocean waters and then converts it into this massive spinning vortex of pure destruction, wind and rain. And yeah, we can track them, we can even give them names. But stopping one once it gets going, we're completely powerless. And it's not just our own atmosphere we have to think about. 93 million miles away, our own sun can just decide to unleash these huge bursts of radiation and plasma. If we took a direct hit from a major solar storm, well, let's just say it would have a huge impact on our modern world, which is, completely dependent on technology. Okay, so we've got these forces coming from deep inside the Earth, and we've got forces coming from the sky. But what happens when they start to interact with each other? Well, that's when you really start to see the true, mind-boggling complexity of our planet's power. The ocean, it's so much more than just a big body of water. It's really the planet's circulatory system. Its currents are like arteries, moving heat all around the globe, and that's what shapes weather patterns for every single continent. It's this massive, dynamic engine that we live next to, but one we can never, ever hope to control. And this is where things get really interesting, where the forces from below and the systems on the surface collide. So you get an earthquake deep under the ocean. It shoves a gigantic column of water upwards, and that sends a wave of pure energy ripping across the entire ocean. And when that thing finally hits a coastline, it's not a wave. It's a terrifying wall of water. So the big takeaway here is that none of this stuff happens in a vacuum. It's all connected. The atmosphere interacts with the ocean. The ocean carves out the land. The land is affected by ice. And the whole shebang is powered by the sun. Our climate, it's the result of this incredibly complex dance, a system so vast, we're really just starting to understand it.
And underneath it all, underneath every single one of these forces, is the most fundamental one of all, gravity. It's like the silent, invisible architect of everything. It's what holds our planet together, what pulls the tides in and out, what keeps our very atmosphere from just drifting off into space. It's constant, it's inescapable, and it's totally 100% beyond our control. Which brings us to our final force. And honestly, this one might be the most powerful of them all. But it's not some big event you can see or a system you can measure with our instruments. It's the slow, relentless, and unbelievably transformative power of deep time. This really puts things into an incredible perspective. I mean, to us, in our short lives, the world feels pretty permanent, right? But on a geological timescale, it's constantly changing. In just 1,000 years, coastlines are totally redrawn. In 100,000, mountains are literally worn down to dust. And over millions of years, whole species evolve and then disappear. Our entire civilization, it's just a tiny, fleeting blink on this immense timeline.
And that really brings us to the final point. The Earth isn't just some passive backdrop for human history to play out on. No, it's the main character. It's a dynamic, restless, and profoundly powerful planet that sets the rules, and we just have to live by them. So, I'll leave you with this final thought. If trying to tame the planet is just an impossible dream, then maybe our goal needs to shift. Maybe instead of trying to control everything, we should focus on respect, on adaptation, on understanding. So the real question is, how do we build a civilization that actually works with these awesome forces of nature instead of constantly fighting a battle we can't possibly win?